So pretty hefty rumors are hitting the PS5, and is Xbox okay? Maybe. Let's find out in just a moment as we get into the game news show. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get into our first story here. That we've got Xbox team heading back to Gamescom with our biggest booth yet, August 21st to 25th. So they show out pretty big at Gamescom every year. I'm not really surprised by this. This is what they do. Like, again, every year, they show up and, you know, they have a good showing. It's all stuff they've announced, so there's nothing new. It's like, you want to know about the games, huh? You can expect to see Age of Mythology Retold, Avowed, Ara History Untold, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, Diablo Immortal, Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, Towerborn, and World of Warcraft: The War Within. More to come. I don't think there's going to be any surprises here. It is what it is, you know? And yeah, which leads me to the next couple of stories that we've got. This one coming from Twisted Voxel. Halo Infinite barely received any new content in 2024 with no new projects announced. Now, I think received in the past tense when we're still in the middle. We're halfway through 2024. Is a weird wording, right? Like, does anybody else feel that way? I feel that way. But I will say, right around the Xbox showcase hype and then post hype, you know, the event happened, everybody was excited. Leading up to it, there were a lot of rumors. A lot of things were going on there. And one of the things that came out of it was 343 dropped a trailer that was like, this is Halo Infinite. And the whole vibe from the trailer, at least for me, was it was very conclusive. It was very, thanks for all the support. This is the game. And it just kind of feels like Halo Infinite is on the, like, outbound trajectory for 343, and maybe the next project will come up soon. Next mainline story entry, campaign entry for Halo, next multiplayer, something might be on the horizon. I don't know what that is, but this is a good point. Like, barely anything has been announced, so we can look at the article really quick. I don't know if you guys can read it with me. Maybe we can make it a little bigger. There we go. So, Xbox Game Studios 343 Industries first-person shooter Halo Infinite has barely received any new developer-made content in 2024. Twitter/X user and content creator Mr. Rebs, who is known for reporting on the Halo series, shared that the next Halo game won't be released for a long time. He also pointed out that Halo Infinite has received a very minimal amount of developer-made content this year. This includes 3 maps, 2 of which were made in Forge, and 1 new game mode, Gruntpocalypse. The game has received no new equipment, weapons, or vehicles, which is all factual stuff. It's, you know, it's kind of weird. Like, what's going on? And so he goes on to talk about just how there hasn't been any content, no new announcements. It's kind of a dry season for Halo, and it's weird. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but this is how I've been feeling. The game is technically a good game. Just the live service model behind it doesn't work. It hasn't been implemented very well. It's an odd place to be because the game is good, but they want you to be like, they want you to come back for the operations and the new stuff and the weekly rotations in the store. But that's not appealing to people who like Halo. People who like Halo want to play a good game, and that's it. You know, I don't know, like, why that's controversial. I don't know why that's weird, but it's a weird statement in 2024. But it's the state of gaming. They're chasing the live service dollars, and I don't think the Halo community has responded in kind. So, all right, let's move on to the next story before I soapbox this even further. Changes in Forza Horizon 4's festival playlist and delisting from digital stores. So this is straight from the Forza Horizon website. I saw some tweets going around this, shared some thoughts, but I thought I'd mention it here. Forza Horizon 4 is being delisted from digital stores at the end of the year. So, Playground Games has a little write-up about it. Due to licensing agreements with our partners, excuse me. Licensing agreements with our partners, Forza Horizon 4 will be delisted from digital platforms, Microsoft Store and Steam, December 15th, 2024. This means the game and its additional content will no longer be available for purchase through online stores. So then they talk about some of the in-game content. There will be one more festival playlist, Series 77, and it'll end August 22nd. It'll also be the last opportunity you have to get a handful of achievements listed out here in the article. And then challenges and stuff will continue to rotate, which will allow you to get previously seasonal content, seasonally locked content. Also, they'll be discounting Forza Horizon 4 on Steam and Xbox Store. What I thought was interesting, because Game Pass, and this is something that has concerned me with how Game Pass is structured, especially for first-party titles, but it'll be delisted from stores on December 15th and Xbox Game Pass. It means the game and its additional content will no longer be available for purchase. Players who already own the game and its content will be able to download and play it as normal, including its offline, online, and multiplayer features. Physical copies of the game purchased after this date will also work and will be able to use online features. So, you'll still be able to enjoy the online component. You just won't be able to buy any DLC. But if you played Forza Horizon 4 through Game Pass and purchased DLC content for it, worry not. By having an active, full paid, not discounted Xbox Game Pass subscription on 6/25, that's today, you'll be eligible to receive a game token if you've purchased any extra content for Forza Horizon 4 through your Xbox Message Center. They're sending you a code if you bought DLC because you played it on Game Pass. And that is probably the best way to start it. Unused tokens will expire in a year, so you have a year to redeem it, or 2 years. 6/25/26. If the date's not formatted weird. If that's month, day, year, not month, year, day. Anyway, if you haven't received your token by this date, contact support. Thank you and goodbye. All right, so anyway, this is the problem with digital games and service-based games. Eventually, the services have to come to a close. They have to shut it down. There's there's a point where people aren't playing it. However, with stuff like Game Pass that discounts DLC purchases for games you're essentially renting, what do? This is the best way to handle it. Hey, did you buy DLC? You'll get a full version of the game. Now, does that mean if I go buy the DLC instead of the full version of the game, do I get a code? I have no idea because of the way that's worded. Starting on, or if you have it purchased before today's date, it sounds like you get a code for the full game if you bought DLC previously. We'll find out. I would like to find out myself. I just didn't have time before this video goes up to really do that research. But this is the best way to handle that, very specific to Game Pass situation, because I imagine some people will be like, why would I buy the full game, if I could play it on Game Pass, but I want the DLC. This expansion pack is $10. I'll get it, and then I'll get to enjoy that without having to have bought the base game, but now the base game's gone away. I legitimately think the number of people affected by this, single digits, probably, maybe in the low hundreds of players, but it would become a long-term concern as Game Pass continues to get more first-party games added to it. That's all I'm saying. So, if you got Forza Horizon 4, hey, good job. If you don't, hey, it's going on sale. You pick it up and all the DLC. Good luck. I think it's one of the better entries in the series. I like the location. It's a really good entry. I mean, all of them have been good. There's no, I'm trying to say, it's the best one. All of them have been phenomenal. Playground Games really knows their stuff, and this was just a banger entry in the series. All right, let's move on to the next topic. I thought this was funny. Pokemon TCG was doing a contest for some art, and, the top 300 finalists some of them got into some hot water. Pokemon TCG Illustration Contest 2024 finalists have violated the official contest rules. As a result, entrants in violation of the rules have been disqualified from the contest. Furthermore, additional artists participating in the contest will soon be selected among the top 300 finalists. We're committed to upholding the integrity of the Pokemon TCG Illustration Contest and appreciate fans' continued support as we celebrate the artistic abilities of the talented Pokemon community. TCG out. All right, so anyway, why did they release this statement? Well, they selected their top 300 quarterfinalists on June 14th and showcased the artwork. And anytime artwork's publicly displayed, it means it will be publicly criticized. And some keen-eyed artists were like, hey, kind of looks like AI art. And who's to say that it's not AI art? It very likely is AI art. And I'm not going to go into the posts of the the offending entries. But good on Pokemon TCG, good on Pokemon Company for disqualifying and then kind of bumping up the next few that would have moved up in the finalist position. So the contest can still continue, but the cheaters are banned. It's great. It's a good outcome. AI art, man, that's a real problem. And stuff like this will continue to have to deal with that. Like, you'll have to be able to identify, or at least make specific rulings, which it sounds like they did. They had a rule around AI art already, unless, otherwise this wouldn't be a problem. But in any case, thought it was kind of funny. This is not going away. This is just the tip of the iceberg for these kinds of things happening in the gaming space. All right, let's go on to the next story, which one that has me pretty excited. A remake. This comes from Senorita Kazi, as the tweet I found about it. Remake of the original Jet Set Radio is in the works at Sega. It is a full remake of the Dreamcast game and is not related to the free-to-play reboot. Source, Midori, famed, infamous leaker. So these screenshots, I don't know if I'll get in trouble for showing these. It'll be fine. Look pretty good. This is like an alpha build, I would imagine, but this looks awesome, and I love the Jet Set Radio series. Very excited to see where this is going. Just to be completely honest, this has me pumped. But are these screenshots bad? Like, am I going to get in trouble for this? I don't know. I really don't know. Guys, Jet Set Radio is a fun game. Has a great soundtrack, graffiti-based skater game. It's all the early 2000s energy contained in one game. I absolutely love it. All right, well, let's move on to our next story. Squad up for Fortnite Reload. Basically, Fortnite has released a COD Resurgence clone with OG, like, Season 0 original Fortnite weapons. It's been fun. I like the smaller map that has basically key locations from the OG map and none of the craziness of the vehicles of the current Battle Royale season of Fortnite. It's very fun. Very fun. I'm terrible at it. The weapons feel totally different. I'm hot garbage. But it's a squad-based, respawn, team deathmatch kind of approach to Battle Royale, and it's very fun. Very fun. It's got a new map, Reload, Deja Loot. Excuse me. It's cool. I've enjoyed it. It's got some specific challenges around it. You'll get some, freebies just for completing challenges. And if you get a victory, you get the Resbrella glider. So if you're into Fortnite stuff, check out this mode. I'm sure you have already. It's being pushed really hard, so it's pretty fun. All right, let's move on. I thought this was interesting. Nintendo won't reveal Mario and Luigi's new developer, but says original staff are involved. So Mario and Luigi Brothership, when that trailer came out, one of the questions I had was, I wonder who made it, because Alpha Dream was shut down recently, and apparently they closed the studio in 2019, or they went bankrupt, and Nintendo didn't save the studio or whatever. But a few of the original staff are working at Nintendo. So this article from Video Games Chronicle points out that the first new entry in the Mario and Luigi series in 9 years. Biggest questions from fans has been who's developing the game, since the series' original developer, Alpha Dream, went bankrupt in 2019. Asked about who is making the game, a Nintendo rep told GameFile on Saturday some of the original developers who worked on the franchise are involved in the development of Mario and Luigi Brothership. For more information about the developers, please stay tuned to the game credits at release. So basically, hey, we're not telling you, but we'll show you at the end of the game. This is how they were with Super Mario Wonder. They were like, hey, there's the new voice actor for Mario. You'll find out when Super Mario Brothers Wonder comes out. And then, the game leaked a little early, and we found out who it was. And it was cool because the voices are good, and, new Mario voice is good. And it wasn't a bad situation. It's just, why is Nintendo keeping close to the chest on this one? It's very weird that they don't want to showcase, their maybe second-party developers. If that's the case here. I don't know. I just find it weird. Nintendo makes some odd business decisions, but hey, they're crushing it in the console sales space. So there you go. All right, let's talk about mobile games. This is mobilegamer.biz. Those Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil, and Death Stranding ports have bombed. So, if you guys know, I've talked about it a little bit here on the show. Apple has shown big AAA games running on iPhones and their in-house Mac processors and everything, or Apple Silicon as it's called. So, they've shown Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed in its keynotes over the last 12 months, all running on high-end iPhones and iPads. But their commercial failures as far as sales go, I'm kind of summarizing the article here as I read. But here's a good graph of Assassin's Creed Mirage estimated downloads from the App Store. June 6th, and then here we are, almost to now. Practically nothing. Few here and there. It's very odd. But I think part of it is these games are essentially full price games on phone, and nobody wants to pay $50 for a game locked to my phone. Now, you buy it on like your MacBook, I would imagine it's only the Mac version of that game. You're not getting the iOS version as well. But if you are getting it on every Apple device at one price, it's very interesting. We need to look into that. I need to find out if that's the case. Because if it's only on like the iPhone version that you're paying the $15 or $50 or $25 or however much it costs, if you're only paying that much for just the iPhone version, you can't like bring it to your iPad or your Mac. Let's say you have a Mac Pro or a Mac Studio that you want to use because you're playing games on your Mac, probably not enjoying things, but you want to be able to play those games. That would be weird if you had to buy it twice. Now, I highly doubt that's the case because look at how Apple Arcade works. That's my example. Apple Arcade, every one of those games is playable on every Apple device that is currently supported. So Apple TVs, Mac hardware, iPhone, iPad, all those will run all of those Apple Arcade games. So it's very interesting that people aren't shelling out. I think people are just confused too. Why would I play Assassin's Creed Mirage on my phone? It's optimized for touchscreens. I'm sure it has controller support. Actually, I think we did talk about it having controller support. But like, what's the appeal if I can't bring my Xbox or my PlayStation or my PC saves over? I'd rather just keep playing it on my PC using, a Steam Deck or GeForce Now or what have you. I'm just saying. That's really it with these Apple first games. You have to basically not have another way to play it. You have to be locked into the Apple ecosystem and literally have nothing else. So I thought it was interesting. All right, let's get to this big story here. Rumor from Game Rant: Sony may be working on native PS3 backwards compatibility. All right, Sony is rumored to be working on making some PS3 games. These are the highlights. PS3 games natively playable on PS5, addressing a major criticism of the console's compatibility. Some PS3 games currently require persistent internet connection to be played. The possibility of native PS3 game support of PS5, as hinted by a credible insider, would be a big deal for PlayStation fans. So, I saw this. It's a rumor. I'm not a big fan of talking about rumors, but I thought this was interesting enough because with the PS5 Pro on the horizon, if they can get base, existing PS5s running PS3 games natively, one, that would be a pretty cool feat of emulation because, Sony's PS3 architecture is very different from literally everything else at the time and what we have currently. So that's a challenge in and of itself. But if PS5 is powerful enough to stably run PS3 games, even at their native specs, would be pretty awesome. It'd be pretty great to pop a PS3 disc into that PlayStation 5 and just play the game. Now, I feel like it's going to be select games. It's this is a rumor from Special Nick, who is on the Xbox Era podcast. Guy is a credible leaker, insider. His quote exactly is Sony's working on select PS3 backwards compatibility for PS5. So think about when Xbox first announced backwards compatibility for the Xbox One with 360 games. It wasn't everything, it was a few games. Then they added more. This could happen. Should this happen, this will give a big boost to PlayStation fans and people considering a new piece of hardware that maybe has a back catalog of PS3 games. I, for one, would be thrilled because then, like, the Ratchet & Clank trilogy, I could play on a PS5 and I wouldn't have to have a PS3 to be able to play it. That's a trilogy I've been wanting to replay, especially because I didn't play the third game. I only played the first two, but that's not the point. But even those PS3 Ratchet & Clank games are pretty solid. You could play those now too, and just allow a way to bring like these whole franchises onto the PS5. Kind of like how Nintendo has done with Zelda on the Switch. You can play nearly every Zelda game on the Switch, except Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, but that's a different story, right? But thanks to NSO and the additional games there, like almost every single Zelda game is playable unless it just doesn't have a Switch version. But like it's a great platform to play some of the best Zelda games ever made, you know? So anyway, all right, well, that'll do it for the game news. I think this emulation thing should be pretty good. I hope it's real because I'd like to see how it works. Would it get performance? You know, will we get like 60 frames per second in 30 FPS PlayStation games? I don't know yet. I would like to see that. I'd like to see a resolution bump. Basically do what Xbox did for 360 games, but better. You know, do it in that, you know, Sony will do some kind of cool technical tricks to make it work. But I'm concerned that the library will be laughably small. Even as time goes on, I just think it'll be a very small number of titles supported in the long term. But that's where I'll leave the game news for today. You guys let me know what you think about any of these stories in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble after the fact, hey, thanks for being here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, help us get to 1K on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, we're about to play some Wind Waker HD. I'm out of here. See ya.